Hello and welcome back to the Eclectic Soul podcast. I'm your host, Justine. Happy May, everyone. These last couple weeks have definitely been something interesting. In this time, I've been able to sit and really reacquaint myself with myself, if that makes sense. But it's been, it hasn't been cute. It has not been pretty. I can't front and say that it's just been this like glorifying experience, but it definitely has been like illuminating in ways that at first I think I was very, oh, this thing isn't real. This thing is going to blow over. And then I went through the roller coaster of emotions, like down my conspiracy theories, like all these rabbit holes. And then also like, okay, well, what does that mean for the future? All of these unknown questions and, like starts and endings of things that have deadlines that are basically on pause now. It's like a domino effect. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is really fucking like, ooh, I cuss. I'm trying not to cuss on this podcast, guys. Let me go back. But so this is really like awesome that I'm able to have this time to reflect and tap into, my to-do list or all these things that I've been wanting to do, that I've been postponing, I've been making excuses, I've been delaying, truly sitting with myself and what it is that I want, and I think too, being able to be still, it feels good. Like at first it felt uncomfortable. It felt very different. And now that it's been a few weeks, it's like, okay, like this is high key, like really nice. And I'm able to find other ways to, learn from my school, my program, and also work, earn income to meet my needs. So it's just like, wait a minute, maybe the way that I was doing things, wasn't the best way to proceed doing, and so I think that's the silver lining of that. And that's where we take our power back, is at this time to be able to reflect and also assess and then design a new approach that we want to take with life moving forward, and then also implement it. Start now, start today. Like, I want a better schedule. I want to get more sleep. I want to, allocate more time for my spiritual practice, for my prayer, my meditation, my chanting, for my stretching, for my yoga, for my journaling, for my tea time, where I just sit with myself and I have some tea and I put my phone on airplane mode. So all of these things are now, I think, accessible because of this time, this opening in time. So, I know this time is affecting everyone differently. So I don't want to like minimize those that have lost, their roof, their shelter, who are hungry, who are, really in the middle of the fire of all of this, because it's like no one was prepared, but they specifically were not prepared, and therefore our government hasn't really met their needs, and I think in a long time. And I think so this circumstance or this pandemic really reveals that there were a lot of people prior to this event whose needs weren't getting met, their basic human rights, their basic needs for shelter, food, and clothing. So I think, I don't want to take away from anyone's plight. I don't want to be too privileged to say that I have privilege, that I'm okay right now. I'm not in this, do or die situation. I have time to reflect, and that's just what I want to share, and so I'm really grateful to just be in this position, but also I don't want to leave people out and leave people behind. And I think this time really is a great time to reflect, and that's where we take our power. That's where we have our power, and that's where we take it back, is to shift it and be like, okay, we were doing things like this prior, and it worked for very, very few, and it left a lot of people out. And then now this thing that is like an invisible enemy, if you will, is out here, and it's affecting a lot of us. And not just, the 1%, not the middle class, not the, the millennial. It's like intersectional, but there are people who are being left out of the solution, So I think this is a great time for us to really assess and then implement new ways of doing things. And I'm not necessarily saying that the first try is going to be, perfect, but we have to be okay with admitting, like, okay, yeah, we're a young country here in America, and we don't know everything. And even if you're an old country, you don't know everything. You know what I mean? You've gone through these difference in opinions and views of how to govern your state and yourself. And so why are we so afraid now to say that about us? You know, that, okay, maybe we don't got everything figured out, and maybe there's another way to do things. Okay, there's another way. Let's hear from the science. Let's hear from the data that backs it up, and then develop a plan, implement it. And then also too, regulation. Like, once we do something, don't be like, oh yeah, we fixed that, we put a band-aid on it, it's all Gucci. No, it's not Gucci. Like, come back periodically, quarterly, assess, review, regulate, and then improve. Have those like guidelines to, okay, what are our recommendations for the next year, for the next program? How are we going to measure the success? What amount of funding are we donating to this designated field, you know, for testing, for prevention, for, you know, health promotion? And that's something too that I'm thinking is really going to be like something like, growing up in Cali, you know, the weather is pretty good all the time, so you're always out and about, and so you're more, I would say, living here, you're a little bit more conscious of, okay, how am I going to be, you know, in a bikini, or how am I going to be on the beach? So people work out a little bit more than necessarily if you were living in somewhere where it's really cold and you don't wear a bikini that much, and you can kind of like, you know, have a cute coat. So I think it's definitely an active state, and I'm sure there's different places that have similar weather, or like, you know, just that vibe where they're like, okay, health is on the forefront. But I think this time has really let people see like, yo, if I can build my immune system, I can fight this stuff, and I'll have a better chance. You know, like right now I hope I don't get it, but if I get it, I hope my immune system fights it off, you know? And so because we're like, okay, what do we have power and control over for ourselves and in our life, we're like, okay, well, maybe I should start taking some vitamins. Some vitamin C wouldn't hurt. And I can also, you know, do some at-home workouts. Like, yo, I just ordered some bands, just little things that I was like, yo, like, you can get really creative. You can be really creative and innovative in your home. You really don't need a gym membership. I get wanting one. Like, I am missing the gym. I like to just get away and be like, okay, my phone's in my locker, or like, you know, lock my stuff up, take my headphones, let me just go listen to music, turn it off and work out. And that's my time with me. I'm competing with myself. I'm pushing myself. I'm looking myself in the mirror, my eyes. I'm like, yo, girl, you got this when we're set. So I enjoy that time, but you don't need that. Like, I've been actually too, like, just out and about, going for walks, going for runs, things like that. And it's like, yo, you can really actually take care of yourself and improve, you know, your health and your overall like fitness level gradually at home. And it's not taken away from your 24 hours in the day, you know, and it's actually probably saving you some money on a gym membership and some time driving to the gym, getting there, and all that. So I think this is a great time for people to really take that into consideration and become more accountable for their health, not just for, you know, the physical aspect, or I want to look good. Like, I support that. Look good, feel good, you know, but it's also like a mentality, an immune system that can help you fight off a lot of different viruses and, you know, flus and things that go around. So I think that's another like silver lining of this time. I also am really loving all of these like support groups, like and communities. You know, I have a lot of different groups I'm a part of, from like alumni or just girlfriends, you know, and just really cool people that are sending me Zoom meetings or like invites where it's like, let's do mindfulness, or even just sharing stuff on WhatsApp. Like, okay, like at this time I'm gonna sit down and meditate. Like, this is the audio clip I'm gonna meditate to. Would you like to join me? So there's a sense of like solitude that I'm so grateful for, but then I also still feel connected, even though you would think it'd be the opposite. I still feel connected. I still feel like people are there. I can reach out to them. They're not too far. We're in sync, you know, and then too, I also feel like I'm not letting people down as much. Normally I'm like over committing to things because I just want to be there for people, basically. And so that's a me problem. Like, I need to be there more for myself, and I'm working on that. And I think this time has allowed me to slow up on the commitments that I make. So I am still here And I feel like I can make time for myself and say no easily, like more easily than prior. Before I'd be like, oh yeah, it's on the way, like I'm gonna be that direction anyways, I might as well stop by. But now I'm just like, yo, like I'm here, you want to do yoga online or you want to do something together, we can like plan it. And so I think that's beautiful because it's allowed us this pause in time and in space to be like, okay, look, there's certain amount of hours in the day, I can allocate X amount to this activity, that activity, to checking in with a family member, to talking to people, to responding to messages, but I also need to allocate, you know, a solid core amount of hours to myself and what I need to do for me. So that's another silver lining I want to really touch on, you know, because I feel like if anyone's out there can relate, you know, being busy can also be a distraction. Because sometimes you're in quicksand, you're busy, you're putting out a lot of energy, a lot of effort, but you're not necessarily progressing forward. And I can relate that I felt like that a lot in the past, where I'm like, I'm always busy and I'm like, dang, how the heck, for what? Like, when did this, I forgot that. Like, I just be on my own head, like, yo, but necessarily wasn't always busy towards what I needed to do. For me, it was busy people pleasing. And what does that get you? Burnt out, tired. And, you know, if you don't really release it and have an understanding tribe, it could have you feeling away, you know? So I think it's definitely great. I've also been able to dive back into reading, and that's something that's kind of like a first love, like a puppy love thing, where it's like, let me just get a good book. And there's no excuse to not be reading. I'm sure, you know, people find ways, you know, you can also do audiobooks, you can physically do it, you get your Kindle, whatever the case. But I've definitely gone back to the basics and gotten the hardcover out, felt the pages between my fingertips, and like turned the page and just been in awe. And so yeah, I think that's another silver lining of this time. I am a little bit on a cloud 9 right now. I just got off of a virtual graduation. Again, another unity activity that you can do. For my little sis, she just received her Bachelor's of Science in Public Health from San Diego State University. I am also an Aztec alumni, and I did the same program for my first degree. So I really understand what she went through to achieve this milestone. And I'm just so proud that they had this closure moment. Even though it was like, you know, virtually, it was still something to stamp and kind of close one door before journeying, you know what I mean, going on to the next, like the next goal. So I remember, you know, thinking like, yo, finally, I'm done with this BS. This is over. Really, you know, the marathon continues. Another day, different struggle. You got to get it. But I was really happy that she had this moment, because she is going to be going on and doing Teach for America, and you know, and basically going into her credential and doing another higher education graduate program, post-grad. So I'm happy that she was like able to have some kind of recognition for all her efforts, and for us to be able to just honor her class and make them feel seen, because their work wasn't easy, you know, and they didn't give up. And it just shows that you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I really am just in awe, because I'm like, wow, like I met her, I think maybe like 7 or 8 years ago. I actually started a club in high school, my senior year, and like 2009. And I called it Illmatic. It stands for I'll Make a Transformation in My Community. And basically the club continued. After I graduated in 2010, it kept going, and she ended up being the president of the Illmatic Club, I think in 2012 or 2013. So I met her and I was like, hey, yo, what's up? You know, we're from the same city. And at the time I was studying in San Diego. And we just developed a bond. We just had a relationship, and I just, you know, I just saw her light, and I just thought she was awesome. And I just wanted to be there for her in any capacity that she would allow me to. And it's just beautiful, because now look at us, like years later, I'm able to attend her graduation ceremony and just see, you know, her growth. And even with her going on to Teach for America, and, you know, she's traveled, she's studied abroad. And it's just beautiful. And I really always want to stress how important it is to be a mentee and a mentor. So I have tons of mentors who have poured into me over the years, and I'm just grateful. I don't know what they saw in me, but I'm thankful that they did. I'm thankful that they chose to share their wisdom with me and to just like inspire me to keep going. And so I always try to stress that to the young women that I mentor, that they need to turn around and find someone too. Like find someone that you see their light, and you see that they are like, you see their heart, you see their light and their heart. So you see their movement, but you also see their intention behind their movement, is what I mean by that. And then reach out and try to be there for them. You know, it's not necessarily, well, I'm busy, I don't have time, you know, what can I get out of it? You're not going to get something out of it like tangibly, like, oh yeah, I'm getting X amount for this many hours. But like in reality, I always find that whenever I'm mentoring someone, I end up having to take my own advice. So all the things I'm preaching to them to like, you know, focus on or let go or do or improve, like I'm also like reminding myself to do the same thing. And I'm speaking from experience, and I'm like reiterating these lessons I've already learned. So it's like, I don't really forget. I'm just polishing myself while also being able to be an ear to someone else and help, you know, support them on their journey. So I'm always like stressing to my sisters, like, you guys need to turn around and find some young women that you also see something in, and that you can, you know, just help in any way that you can, because that's life. And I think that's how we break down these kind of like us versus them mentalities, and the whole only the strong survive. Like, look, we can go together, we can build together. And just because I had to, you know, go through it and struggle to find out something doesn't mean I have to keep that knowledge to myself and not share it with someone who can benefit from it, you know. And I think that's the thing, is like, we all go through stuff and we're like, oh, you wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. But okay, cool, you know, they wasn't with you in the gym. That don't mean that like they're not good people, and that they also wouldn't have helped you if they could, you know, or even if they couldn't have helped you. That doesn't mean that you have to just bottle up all of this and just die and take it with you. Like, that's not how it works. So I truly believe in like mentorship and just like pouring in, and because someone's pouring into you, you know, on auto-tune, autopilot, it's always running in the background, you know, it's happening. And I remember hearing that at like a women's conference one time in South London. They were saying how, you know, there's people who will pour into you, so those are your mentors. There's people who you will pour into, those are your mentees. And then those people that are beside you and like hold you afloat, you know, hold you accountable. And I think those are your peers, those are your closest friends that, you know, you share both the good and the bad, you know. I'm not gonna say I don't share the bad parts of me with my mentor, but I just feel like I value and respect my mentor's time so much that when I come to them, I try to come correct. I don't really like give them all the messy tea and all that. And my mentees, I just try to listen more. And then when they ask for my advice or for me to respond, I try to be very like clear and like concise to what their question is. But with your peers, you're like, yo, this happened. Like, all of these things happen. Some days I'm up, some days I'm down, and you're just more transparent and vulnerable. And I think that's what, you know, that's kind of the circle of life. You have the people that pour in, pour out, and you pour into, and then the people that hold you afloat. So I really truly think, especially as women of color, we have to make an effort to be more united, because for so long we've been conditioned by society that only one of us can do it. There's only a token one. You're not going to mess up what I got going on. And really, that's truly not the case anymore. And the sooner we figure that out, the better, because this is played out, you know. And I too, I'm conscious of it. I really try to, you know, release my RBF and just greet people and give compliments. Like, sometimes I'm thinking all the time and I don't really notice how I'm moving, you know, or being perceived. So sometimes I'll be like, yo, that's a nice hairstyle. I love your hair. I love your, you know, your makeup. Oh, you're natural. Oh, girl, go ahead. Like, I try to just be affirming more so, and really own it in the moment, and not wait until it passes by, because it's something so small that we can do, and it doesn't take away from us. And I think if anything, it adds to us, you know. So yeah. Well, this has been a good time, and I'm thankful for anyone who took the time to listen to my intro. Thank you so much. I had some real ones message me and just support me and affirm me, and I'm getting tongue-tied. You don't even know how I feel. I'm grateful. And so please feel free to holler at me, like, subscribe, follow, share, message me. I'm here for it. I'm open. We're just going to be riding this wave, and please tune back in. I'll be releasing another episode next week. And yeah, have a great rest of your week. Happy hump day, and love and light. See you soon.